Hello, everybody. If it's Wednesday, it's Warhammer, and that must mean it's time for another episode of Warhammer Weekly. Joining me, subbing in as the last minute, we had to bring him off the bench as a designated hitter. Mr. Martin Orlando is back. Marty, what's going on, buddy?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me again, Vince. And I'm wearing very appropriate attire tonight.
You are indeed. Yes, unfortunately, Tom had a little bit of a issue tonight, and he was supposed to be here originally, but then life happens. That's okay. So we all wish Tom well. He may be getting some bad news. We'll see. So, everybody send some good thoughts Tom's way. But we're here to talk about army painting. So I brought in another army painter extraordinaire. Marty, I mean, you were the perfect backup for this episode. If not honestly, you probably should have been primary. Like, I probably should have asked you first.
My first guess in the inner circle chat was Oscar, and I would still like to see the Army Painter Super Friends group chat of like Kit Reich, Oscar, myself, and Mickey. That would be great.
Sure. All the current owners of the best painted Age of Sigmar armies in the country. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
You're looking for
Yes.
like the super episode of all the best painted winners at the biggest events. Sure. I know all your armies. And so what we've got to do is like have a true showdown, right? I don't want to judge that though. That feels like
Hmm.
Well,
no, you
we'd really be
would
upset.
participate. You would be part of it.
Who would judge us? But who would judge us
Uh,
then, Marty? There's no one left. That's it.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It'll be fun.
Uh,
Anyway.
David Canty says he's lost to your beautiful LRL too often. Well,
Hmm. I think it was just the once at Nova.
even once feels it leaves a sting.
Yes, no, I remember David fondly because David is somewhat local. When we used to play in the game, when the Games Workshop was actually in Philadelphia instead of like out in the far burbs, it was great to see and chat about early days of AOS.
Sure. I've seen many gorgeous armies. I love like truly judging painted armies is one of my favorite things at events. I got to do it again this year for 2 different events at Adepticon, and it was wonderful. So we're going to talk about actually what is the easiest armies to paint and what's the hardest armies to paint and so on. We're going to tier list it out. I know some people have shouted out Poor Hammer about a year ago. I did a Poor Hammer episode. I saw those guys. Speaking of, I saw those guys at Adepticon. It was great to talk to them. Got to get them back on the show. Get them over here. I mentioned it. I just got to hit them up. It's so hard to schedule things, you just get busy. But the Poor Hammer guys rock and roll, and I really liked that one. And I wanted to do it here, especially since in the last year, we've actually seen quite a lot of new figs, quite a lot of new expansions, a lot of new stuff. And does it change any of our rankings? Let's find out. But of course, first, well, what do we got here? But the news, as Vince went and grabbed his stuff, his things to do a timestamp, which is an envelope and a pen. Guess what, guys? It's back. That's right. We thought it was dead, but it's back. Oh my goodness. The rumor engine has returned. Marty, it's some Jaws.
Yeah, and almost certainly Squig Jaws, judging by the texture and the thickness of the tongue.
Mm-hmm,
That looked exactly like one of the goblin. Like this looks like a squig that like the goblins would ride, or maybe a little bit more Age of Sigmar. But I also started looking at the Beastnaga orcs. And
Sure.
some of the bigger squigs also have like this very like square jaw and like the teeth shaped like this. So it's like
That's what would make it weird for a squig. Much longer jaw. Squigs normally have a more like flat jaw, right? That
Mhm.
goes like across. They
Yeah.
don't usually
Unless
have
you're
the thinner square jaw. Not
I
most of the time.
Yeah, I was about to say then I think they're called something else in the Beastnaga orcs, like the famous like the centerpiece hero, which is the big boss on like
Sure.
the like
On the little
Cybers.
shark one.
Yeah, the shark one, yes. Yes, this reminds me of that as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Honestly, I mean, I think they put it. This is the kind of thing it feels like they put up, and they're like, oh, well, of course you're gonna think it's just squigs from the 40K
Mhm.
release, and maybe that's true. Maybe this is like a new kind of squig with a longer face. Certainly could be. Okay,
Yeah.
that's possible. It could also be them just completely sidestepping us. Like, could be a Seraphon thing. We haven't seen Seraphon yet. We don't know what they're going to get new later in the year. Assumingly, they're going to get something. We've called that they should get newer dinosaurs. So, like, this could be a big dinosaur mall. It's possible. So,
Yeah.
Who knows? But it's definitely a set of jaws. That's what I'll say. Could or could not be. I would say in my mind, because of the jaw shape, I'm giving it a 40% chance of being squig related.
Okay.
I think it's 60% chance it's anything else.
Okay. I mean, like, being optimistic and being like casting our penny into the pond for wish listing. Ogres are more likely than not like the end of the summer, because they are like, technically they have been teased. This is no longer just rumor mills like Games Workshop showed us.
Yeah. 1 year after they said that was coming, they'll release the actual ogres right on time.
It's a tumultuous schedule. Like, who knows? But yeah, it's like it could be attached to something new for them. It could be a new creature. Ogres could have, like, an ogre could have like a squig on his base, where it's like, this is my thing now. Who knows?
They're claiming that. I don't think they like to mix army significant things like that. By the way, we are going to do a future show one of these weeks. I'm going to do a show when we're going to do a tier list of the pets. Okay.
Yes.
Like, there's going to be a pet tier list coming.
That sounds like a Warhammer Wives show. Perfect one.
Yeah, I've got to find all of the hardest part is just going and finding all of the dumb pets, right? Because it's not like you can really search them up. You've got to kind of like go through each army and figure out like on all because there's a lot of little weird hidden pets, right?
Yes. I feel like we're on the tail end of that. Like, they've gone through, like, I think we are almost at the end of that phase. Like, we've seen the kits come and go, like newer Underworlds warbands do not have pets, for example, as much as they used to, and so forth. Not that I think it was bad. It's just like I think that we may not see as many of them in the future.
Time will tell. I don't know. They've certainly seen all of they certainly saw it was a thing and then started milking it for sure. But you know, like anything done to too far of a degree, it's like it's very hard to have all the pets. It's very hard to have all the pets get traction. You know, Fibblethip caught on. He was just like one weird little homunculus on a card, and then he became a very popular little guy. But like, they've tried many other times to introduce intentionally little guys, and most of them didn't work. Like, that's in Magic, right? But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, and now Cities of Sigmar has its own version of Nurglings, basically.
Sure.
Yeah, which is amusing.
So, go ahead. Good.
No. That was. I was just found it. I find it amusing how the turns have tabled, and now like we're
people are tired of pets.
Yes.
It was inevitable. It always gets, like anything, it becomes a fad. Pets are the swing revival of the late 90s. Just in miniature form, right? They're basically the big bad voodoo daddies of miniatures. So there you go. You can quote me on that. All right. Well, guess what? That's the only news. That's it. It's literally that we got a rumor engine. There it is. Because everything else is just, did you know that 40K is a thing? It's happening. We're going to show you the new box like in 2 days. Get excited.
It's ironic that I'm here right now replacing Tom, because Tom loves Spearhead. And I am excited for the thing they haven't announced yet, which is Combat Patrol. And I would like to engage with 40K in that bite-sized way. So I can get games in with friends like that I don't see as often. So it'd be like, oh, can we get in like 2 or 3 games today, as opposed to 1 3-hour like full 40K game. So I'm hoping we get some news on that soon. That's like one of the main ways I'm excited about the new edition.
Yep. David Canty with the super chat. Thank you. Keep them super chats coming. It helps support the show in a big way. I really appreciate it. So what is your favorite music to listen to while painting? Talking podcasts. My favorite would be synthwave, or does it vary per project? So there's a couple of armies when I paint them, I have a specific playlist, and most of them are actually pretty short, and I listen to them on repeat over and over again when I'm painting that thing. But most of the time what I'm doing while I'm painting. That's just couple very specific projects like Daughters and Slanesh specifically, because I have to put on very specific music to paint those two things. But for most of what I paint, I'm just listening to talking podcasts, like video podcasts on YouTube, but podcasts, whatever. Generally like either fun stuff about magic or D&D or politics. A lot of politics podcasts. That's where I get all my news every day. So,
for me, I recently, over the Christmas, installed a home theater system attached to my renovated hobby space.
nice.
I've been trying to detach myself from streaming services, and usually every month I buy a DVD box set, so I don't have to like. One of the things I love Star Trek. I don't like having to pay Paramount just for Star Trek. So it's like I just got like about a month and a half ago. I got DS9, the whole brick, and just binging that. I do have music podcast, like music playlists for armies, but I've been listening to them less because it's like, well, now I have all of these like physical media that I can actually enjoy.
Nothing wrong with that. There's no DVD player anywhere in this office. That's the issue.
And the main thing is just like ideally I would like to make sure that this lasts like a few years longer, and having the screen or the speakers go the whole time is a good way to burn it out like at your like 3 instead of your 5 sort of thing.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and so that's kind of that's yeah.
That's very frugal and responsible of you. Rucket said with a super chat saying, "Ready for 40K to release? I need new old world news." Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Whatever happened to I want to make a little bit of a joke where it's like it seems that Ulfric Stormcloak has taken over the cities of Sigmar and exiled all Dark Elf men from the city walls. So who knows where they could end up? That entire complete range of plastic kits. Who knows?
Could go anywhere, really, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Cygnus says, "Wasn't being able to own things neat?" Yes, it was. You still can. It's just, but they don't make it easy these days. All right. So let's go to some pick of the week, shall we? Marty, I believe you've got a pick of the week for everybody. What would you like to share?
Yeah. So over the weekend was the 83rd MFCA show, the Miniature Figure Collectors of America.
83rd. Crazy.
Yes. To quote Roxana, because several people have been putting up posts over the weekend over Instagrams, other social media, talking about the show. Roxana, I think, put it best. Roxanne Nielsen, who is one of the curators of Verko's Vault, friend of the show, she said it's a smaller show, but one with a lot of history and heart. Like about like a little over 500 attendees, which for like as far as conventions go is not very large.
Sure.
But like in the grand, like always just incredible pieces of art on display. I took the initiative as a member of the board of directors, like on the show, to do all of the social media work. I tried to put as many of the entries out on non-Facebook platforms as possible, because mainly as some of the people are older, they exclusively use Facebook, and it did very well. Like,
I'm glad you said it. I didn't have to. Yeah.
Yes. And I think that it went over well. A lot more people got to see all of the gorgeous pieces. Of course, I could never photograph them all. I think we had like probably around like 600-700 pieces in like the 3 like showrooms. It's like this interconnected like maze of pieces, and because it's a mix of historical and fantasy, you'll see things from television, things from history, things from Warhammer, things from like just wild and amazing stuff. And I got the time. This was my first opportunity to be on stage and hand out awards to people. And our guest of honor was Bill Merkline, who sculpted the original range of G.I. Joe toys in the late 60s.
Wow. And, okay. Crazy. So like the 12-inch tall ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Originally, so our regular like guest is like Eric Swinson. Eric was at the Games Workshop event. And so we were very lucky. Penny Meyer, who was also a curator at Verko's Vault, talked Bill into coming down. It was kind of like having like an actual celebrity, like Hollywood sculptor in the room with us. He gave a talk on Saturday afternoon. We had lots of like micro panels going like around for like meet the artist people, and he was awarded an honorary grandmaster. And it was like the whole room stood up, and it was a nice it was a nice cool
Nice.
thing for him.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Um, so yeah, it was a great event. We'd love to have. It's like one of those things where we don't have too many of stuff like this in the Northeast, and it's really cool. Our next one is going to be, I think it's April 30th and May 1st of next year. We'd
Okay.
always love to have you come down, Vince.
You can keep dreaming. This is such a busy time of year for me, but it's a nice
Of
thought.
course, of course,
When I
yes,
retire.
yes. um, yeah, it was a fun time, and that was my pick of the week. Just like
Nice.
promoting the show, and yeah.
My pick of the week is our good buddy Sam Lenz, who, and this is going to transition so well into what you are into our next segment.
Mhm.
So Sam put out a video of painting all of the heroes in a very fun, like extremely sort of colorful and stylistic manner from the Warhammer Quest, Dark Water, Dark Tides, whatever the thing is called, that box.
Dark
So
Souls.
well, sure, whatever it's called. That's not right. I know that's not right.
I know, I
Um,
know.
which apparently that game like doesn't work. I don't know. I've seen lots of videos that are like it's a
Yeah,
very bad game. I haven't
yeah.
watched any of them because I don't care. I've never been interested in any of those board games as board games. I've always just looked at them for what the figs that are in there. But Sam did an amazing job. You can find the video link down below. Check it out if you want to see how he approaches a project like that. And I say it's an incredible segue because we'll go from that straight into some hobby time. And why, what is that? But Marty, what do you have on offer this week for what you painted? Well, look at this. It's one of the
Yes.
Warhammer Dark Tide Quest Water people.
Elden Ring like
Mm-hmm.
board game.
Sure.
So yes, I've been putzing around with one character in the Warhammer Quest box. I usually try and paint like one figure. Like I try and pick the figure that I like the most out of the Warhammer Quest boxes as they come out and paint them. So like last time it was Radikar, the wolf, and he turned into my Vampire Lord and Warcry. It's still one of my favorite undead figures they've ever made. And this one is Inara Sion, who is normally the water jug lady, and I did not like the water jug at all. So I tried to kit bash her with like some Daughters of Cain stuff, the pieces of
Sure.
the costume that felt appropriate. So it's like she has a Sylvanet staff and like a little bit of Stormcast thing on the end. Because I wanted to showcase a little bit more of the character development, what might happen to this character after the adventures of the Warhammer Quest box as like a sort of display figure. Not trying too much. Just like nice simple exploration of like tightening blends, some bold, simple colors. I could spend like another 100 hours over
Oh,
like the
sure.
next year tightening everything. I probably won't. Um, I have a nice plinth that it goes on with like a scenic base, and I just want to finish it up in a few days and get ready for my next actual big challenging project, which will be my only surprise for the year.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
My hobby time. I painted up this very fun little road warrior girl from Mindworks. By the way, I do have an affiliate link for Mindworks down below. So if you want to check that out, you can always pick up any of their figs. So I know she's very small and I'm blowing her out with light, but there you go. That was that. I also continued work on this bust, which is Madame Yokai from the Heroes and Horrors line. This bust right here. So we're making some more forward progress on her. We got her inner shirt all done, so that's nice. We're gonna turn to the kimono next, I suspect. Um, so yeah, we're just humming along, humming along. By the by, quick shout out down in the description of this video. You will find the link for Game Envy, and Game Envy now has the art of Vince Ventrella. My art book, the art of book is
My book is over there just out of
sure.
reach.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
meant to
finally
have one here
arrived.
I could hold up to people, and then I forgot to grab it because I'm a genius because I was doing dog stuff.
Yeah.
But at any rate, the art of book is now available from Game Envy. If you missed out on the Kickstarter, you can get the book. You can use my affiliate code down there, saves you money, blah, 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 all of that stuff. And it super helps support the show. So check it out.
Yeah. I have been reading Vince's book, to get more army painting secrets, of course.
Sure, of course.
And it's been quite entertaining and almost a little nostalgic for me, because some of those armies, like I did play you in a game once. I'd like to at some point again. And it's like,
sure,
I remember those Daughters Khaine.
Yeah, we played. That was in
Holy Wars 2019.
Yeah, but I played you with my Stormcast one time as well. There was a time. I know it happened. We've played twice.
Okay.
I'm sure
I must have.
It's all right.
Okay.
It's okay. I know I'm not memorable enough. It's all right. I understand it.
Neither of us are, because neither of us remember this happening.
Sure. No, that's fine. Vince, nice job on your showcase in the City of Ash article. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. That almost killed me because they gave us about 0 days to paint that up. And I wanted to get the Night Runners done. I have them over there. They just couldn't get there. But like the Gutter Runners and the big guy got done. So I was like, all right.
Yes.
Good enough.
Not on games. My box arrived after the submission because of this just postal carrier and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, it was like,
it happens.
I think I had about 5 days to do that. And I was just like, okay, it's like after, because I think I had like 8 days total from when it arrived, but then I had to like put everything together, prime it, actual painting. And that was in the middle of the week and yada, 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 yada. We got a lot done. I'm happy with them. I'm glad I got them done now. And I got a game in with them this weekend. This last weekend, I actually played a fun game with Skaven. As a side note, before we transition into the actual talk, so I played an Eshin heavy new Skaven army this last weekend. This is also part of hobby time. It's not just painting, it's also playing. And so I took 2 units of the new Gutter Runners, overpriced as they are and bad as they are. Took a unit of the Night Runners, took a Deathmaster and the big Vermin Lord Deceiver, so like, okay, that was it. And I took the actual dumb, I kill a guy and I get +2 to move. Dumbest ability ever. I can officially confirm that battle formation is like a joke. That was written as a joke. That's comedy. Okay. Now, I did kill the hero. It just didn't matter. By the time I killed the hero, I had won the game. Now, here's what I will say about playing that new Eshin stuff. The Night Runners are awesome. Okay. The fact that on a 3-up, they can just nope out of combat. I wish they could do it automatically, but I'll take it. On a 3-up, it's incredible. It's very fun. I hate that it's a once per turn army. Because then that means if you fail it, your other units just die. But I had one guy left in combat with a big unit, and he didn't activate to kill that guy. And that dude was like, haha, and he ran away. And that little dork was just running around scoring me points for the rest of the game, baby. The little Night Runner was just on it, just out there, throwing little stars and doing work.
We, by the way, we do technically have news this week. There was a micro update.
Sure.
I think.
Yeah, I did forget all about that. Yeah, they released the errata for Lumineth and Sylvaneth. Yes.
And Lumineth, it's like you can only activate 3 units at once instead of 4.
Sure.
Oh boo hoo.
Right. The Gutter Runners, good in melee, just as I thought. It was a good attack profile, but the Bomb Rats, which is the stupidest ability in the world, was legitimately hilarious. Okay? Like, legitimately hilarious. I killed multiple things with the dumb Bomb Rats. The stupid Gutter Runners kept surviving by like 1 or 2 guys being around, running away, and then like rally them, few come back, and then they go back in somewhere else, and just like, I was like, this is for you, and hand the little Bomb Rat. And it is funny. It's very funny. I killed a shark, an IDK shark with him. He had 3 wounds left, dropped the 3 wounds, dead shark. I was like, yes, there we go. So at any rate, they're terrible and overpriced. Absolute like mad lads with those price. But it is very funny to play and give people the little Bomb Rats. The comedy level versus the efficacy level is just like way off. Like comedy way up here. Actual fun, very high. Efficacy way down here. Didn't matter. It made me laugh every time. Oh yeah, I played Deathmaster or Crixit too. Like I took all the Eshin stuff. Crixit was fine. He got killed pretty early on. He's very squishy. But he did okay. He did okay.
Someone will you should try and kill him, otherwise he will eat your characters.
I mean, yeah, he didn't get to where he didn't accomplish what I wanted to, and that's fine.
Right.
In the end, the old-fashioned Deathmaster plus the Deceiver tooled up is like your best like 1-2 combo for those two to run around and just ice people.
Yes.
So, anyways, it was a lot of fun. Given I was fighting IDK, which is probably one of the easier matchups for me, I suppose, because IDK aren't very good either. So there you go. And I still had some shooting stuff, of course. Duh. Like the best ninjas are backed up by guns. That's what I'll say. All right.
Yes. I mean, that's technically true.
Right. Yeah. 100% true. Yes.
Yeah.
With that, Marty, let's get to the main topic.
All right.
So, our painting tier list for Age of Sigmar 2026. Little Stinker says, so funny if not perfectly effective. Sounds very Skaven. That's absolutely true. All right. So what we're going to do here, what Marty and I are going to spend the rest of this time doing. Here's the overview. Look, the reality is some armies just easier to paint than others. I don't think that's a controversial statement, right? That's just factual. Okay.
There should be. That's like, yeah.
It's just an emergent property, right? I don't think they actually sit there and go, we're going to make these hard to paint, right? They just think, like, well, this is all the crap that belongs on this army, and as a result of it, or whatever, the complexity of it, it's hard to paint.
I do think that it's important to have in, like, the launch sets that one army should be harder to paint and one army should be easier to paint.
Interesting. As part of a launch set. Why? Why do you think so?
Because it allows for people who find, like, someone's going to find the painting particularly intimidating and might gravitate towards one side of the box, which looks less intimidating to do so. And I think just like from the concept of thinking about, I believe personally, now there's of course no internal knowledge of me, like of how Games Workshop actually employs engineers.
Sure.
Like I feel like there's an engineer somewhere where it's thinking about the hobbyist, like the casual or newer hobbyist, as someone who is using their products, like the rattle can, layering with a larger brush, washes, contrast paints, etc.
Sure.
And when I think they were designing something like Stormcast, it's like, what aspects of Space Marines are successful from a product standpoint? And it is how easier they are to paint because of the chunky, large shape.
They are the Vitruvian Man or whatever, right? Like they're like perfect.
Yes. And I think that putting them having a product like that in a launch set is always a good idea.
I'm with that. The question is, why would the other one be harder? Why not have I was actually attacking this from the other side. Like, actually, why not? Why wouldn't they aim for both of the things in the launch box to be easy to paint?
Now, that's why I think Soul Wars is the best box set they've ever made.
Sure.
Because both of them
Stormcast and Nighthaunt. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Oh, boy, really way to spoil the episode here, Marty. You're getting ahead of us. All right. So, we're going to break down all the armies, rank them on the ease of painting, so you can decide on the challenge you want to get, or rather the challenge that's in front of you when you decide on an army. We're going to evaluate according to 3 criteria. You ready, Marty?
Yes.
Here's the 3 criteria.
Yes.
All right.
I can't see on the...
That's fine. Absolutely. Criteria number 1. I understand, but I have to say this. This is how you this is the engaging part of the show for people who might just be listening and not watching. This is the banter, you see. All right. Number 1. Paint for the Paint God said, my kid woke me up by shouting at 1:45, and now it's almost 2 hours later, so I have to accept that all sleep is gone. So hey, I get to watch you guys live. Hello from Sweden.
Hello, Constantine.
How you doing, buddy? Good. I hope you're doing well. I'm sorry your kid is being a bit of a jerk. Children will do that sometimes, but they're probably worth it in the end. All right. Number 1, amount of nonsense and bojangly bits. How much garbo have they shoved on this model for seemingly no reason? That is number 1. Number 2, the uniformity of materials. Okay. So the more they are a unimaterial model, that is obviously a check in their favor, right? So think You mentioned the Space Marine. We'll just stay outside of AOS armies for a moment. Space Marine, great example, right? Vast majority of Space Marine, that armor. That's basically most of what you're painting, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe they got a cloak or a sword or a leather belt or holster or something, right? But the majority of it is the armor. Number 3, how easy do they take to simple painting methods? Which could be the thing you talked about, the traditional like GW style, could be more of a slap choppy type of thing, whatever, like just simple, quick airbrush, right? If you can use the airbrush a lot, any speed method that you can employ. If they take well to it, that's a tick in their favor. Make sense? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, nonsense bojangly bits, uniformity of materials, how they take to the painting methods that are simple and fast. Right on. Okay. Cygnus Maximus says, Cathayan statue, easy. Painting-wise, yes. Absolute pleasure to paint that big, dumb Cathayan statue. Assembling the Cathayan statue, absolute nightmare. Like, just a level of Dante's Inferno. Okay? All right. So, Marty, with the rules laid down, let us now get to the actual tier list. Let us tier this bad boy out. Let's tier it up.
You got it.
Okay. Badoop. All right. So I got 3 categories as always, because 5 categories are unnecessary. That just leads to nonsense. It's always 3 categories. You need 3 paints. You need 3 categories. Okay? That's it. So, here we go. Top category, best category, easiest category. Absolute dream. Total units, the chads of painting armies. Okay? That's number 1. All right? Number 2, it's a project. Meaning, not too hard, not too soft. It's the middle bowl of porridge. Okay? Little Red Riding Hood would sleep in that bed. She would eat that porridge. She would do whatever else the other things are in that story. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Bottom category, nightmare. Full-on nightmare mode. This is hell or whatever, Diablo 2. This is the final challenge. This is setting it on the hardest mode in the game. This is playing the roguelike as a army painting adventure.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is the meme YouTube video.
Yep.
Like when someone takes on an absurd challenge and then records themselves doing it, this is, yes.
Right, exactly. God Santa, the answer is yes. Mart said, hi Vince, I would like to see you painting a Drakari. Is that a dark elf? That's a 40k dark elf, right?
Okay. Yeah, dark Eldar.
Just to have some advice, input from your experience as a professional painter. Well, I don't know when I painted like 1 Eldar ever. And he was a good guy, Eldar. I don't know if I'll ever get to a Drakari. Here's a fun story. Way back in the day, when I was just a young pup and we were playing Warhammer, I was over at my buddy's house. We were having a little paint jam, getting some stuff painted. I spent that whole night painting a Demon Prince. Okay, I was painting a single Demon Prince. We were there for several hours, of course. Let's call it like 6-7 hours, right? Hanging out. It's college time. You've got the time. And my other buddy, who I still play games with to this day, he brought basically his entire Drakari army. All right? And his Drakari army painting strategy, Marty, was like this. They're primed black. Okay? What I'm going to do is this unit is going to be the orange stripe unit. So he went in with an orange color and he like put some orange stripes on their arms or their legs or turned a couple elements orange and then did 2 little eye lenses. Done. Threw it in the box. Next, orange stripes, lenses in the box. Just literally he was throwing them in a box all night, like into a plastic Tupperware. He would finish the thing and then go, and it would just, I just heard it build up over the course of the night. They stopped hitting the plastic and just started hitting other dark Eldar.
Other miniatures.
So, there you go. Yes.
And just as a lot of Dark Eldar relies on segmented plates. So just as a general rule, try and keep like principles of black lining. So like if you, it just builds more definition if you're able to read each of the individual like segmented plates that go like down their legs or like over their shoulders, something like that. Once you get good at like trying to keep like a solid shadow in all of those creases, it will look pretty good on its own. Um, yeah, they're I would say the miniatures have not quite aged well because Games Workshop has gotten
Sure.
so good at like sculpted. Because Dark Eldar, for folks who don't know, was actually the first range fully digitally sculpted by Games Workshop. I
Oh, I didn't realize
remember
that.
back when they had the old blog and the old website. It was like 2012 or something. They're like, look at this render of like a Dark Eldar pulse rifle in the computer. We made that. Isn't this
Sure.
cool?
Sure. Technology is amazing. Yeah. To be
Yeah.
clear, I see Little Stinker said throwing the minis is crazy. To be clear, I don't mean gently tossing the mini into the plastic tub. I mean, when he was done, he would take the mini. I got to fit here. I'll use this eraser. He would finish up the thing. He would take it and then go in. It's plastic. It was the late 90s. Who cares? There you go. All right. So Marty, let's break it down here. Let's grab some armies. Let's go to work.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think I got some armies that are trailing off to the side here. I'm just gonna squidge them up here. Squidge. We're squidging. Excuse me, everybody. I'm just squidging here. All right. There we go. We have completed the squidge. All right. Cool. I just didn't want to miss anything. All right. Let's start with perhaps a challenging one. Let's start with this one. Caradron Overlords, Marty.
Okay.
Let's start with the dwarves. Advantage, half size. Dwarves are small. That's nice.
Yeah. A lot of your points might be taken up by technically vehicles. So when you're considering a project, it's not going to be a high model count. I don't know if that's a criteria though. I think that's
we can take it into account as like a sort of.
Yeah.
Let's use that as like a tiebreaker, right? Like how many models is there?
Yeah. Because I remember your what was it, Steam Tank Army?
Sure.
I think it was that your first army painting video or something like that? That really stuck with me about like, and one of the principles is like what is the army composition like? How many infantry does it have?
Yep.
If you're working like on 70 models, or is it like closer to 20 or 4?
Yep.
So yeah, so Bojangles.
They did there. They've got some Bojangles, especially as you go up the range. Yeah. The big ships and stuff have Bojangles everywhere. Like things like Thunderers have a lot of Bojangles. Yep.
But they're mostly the same texture. So as long as
it's true.
Yeah. So it's like, especially for someone who's more of a beginner, I could see something like where they are basically all over metallic, maybe a wash, and then lightly dry brushing, and then picking out whatever details they want after that. So I would say, while the miniatures look intimidating, they can be easier to tackle.
Yeah, I think overall, if we think about it, there's a decent amount of Bojangles there. The uniformity of material is like medium, because the problem is you do have a lot of boats. Those have a lot of variants. Things like the new Von Grimm are a lot different than the Thunderers, are a lot different than your main little dorks, whatever their names are, because they have a ton of cloth. What's the main guys called? I can't remember their name.
Arcanaut Company.
Arcanaut, yeah, the Arco. There you go. Like the Arco have a lot of cloth compared to other guys who are mostly encased in metal, and yada yada yada, right? It's just a strange army to paint as well. Like it's a lot of it's a lot of different things going on. Like, oh, all of a sudden these guys have balloons and they have little windows in them and stuff. And like, what are you rendering those as and all of this?
Yes.
So I agree with you. There's a lot of metallics, but I actually think a heavy amount of metallics is a negative, is a net negative, because it's kind of hard, especially even if you're a new painter. Like, yeah, you can slap a bunch of metal over something and then wash it, but then it kind of looks bad. You know what I mean? Like, and you don't really know why. Right. So like how it takes to simple painting techniques, I think, is low.
Yeah. Yeah. I think though, it's like, so if we wanted to pick something that might be like dead center, like I feel like this would be a good place to put them, because I don't think they're a nightmare. Like there's not enough of them.
No, I don't think it's a nightmare. I think it's a project, right? Like I think that's right. It's a project. They're not too, as you said, the tiebreakers, like how big are they? It's probably not that big, realistically, right? If we're wondering like where do they fit on average, we got to look at like the average, because of course you could be like, well, I'm I'm playing Flesh Eater Courts and I just have like 5 Ghoul Lords on Terrorgeist. My army's very small. And it's like, yeah, okay. All right, fine. But that's not the normal way that army plays, right?
Correct. Right.
Okay. Yeah. I agree. Let's call him just a project. I think that's right. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Next up, new Cities of Sigmar. This is the old cover, but it doesn't matter. New Cities of Sigmar as they exist, as they're about to release all the new guys. Like, we've seen all the models, so that's not like we can evaluate that. I can't do rules evaluation yet, but I can talk about all the model pictures we've seen. We've seen the Cog Fort and the new little guys, and the new wizards, and all that stuff.
I have gone on an emotional roller coaster with this Cog Fort, where it's like, you can't get me to paint that. I could imagine myself painting that. I'm gonna paint that, but it's gonna take me like 4 months. Just leave me alone while I paint it.
I mean, I will be painting it, but it will be a Skaven version of the thing for sure. So
yeah, I will be doing Grand Cathay as cities. I want to do that as my next Age of Sigmar army. I want like a
also, and that they would go straight into Nightmare. No further discussion.
I think this army is already Nightmare. Like,
yes,
get
out
of here. Like, for an army which functions like both in the lore and I think in the kit design as like a counterpart to the Imperial Guard from 40K, where it's a lot of these regimented but like militia. They have too many textures. Like, one of the things about Imperial Guard is like they're kind of supposed to be like almost analogous to World War II, where it's like you have a flak jacket, you have your fatigues, you have your tin hat, and you have your rifle. Go out there. Very Starship Troopers, very, I think, like World War II. This is, all of these characters have, like, every regular Cities of Sigmar peasant soldier has, like, layered, tailored, segmented cloth, like 3 layers of it, chain mail. All of the boots have like extra belt buckles on them. The shields, don't even get me started on the stupid shields. I mean, they're gorgeous, but it's like they have like the filigree on top, like it's an ornamented chair. Even the new the Knight Gallants, which is just a guy in plate armor. They have like medallions, and then they have the crests, which then have plumes after that. And it's like, and then you need like 70 of them.
I agree. Look, this guy's this is the classic Nightmare army. Okay.
Yeah.
Greebles and Bojangles and nonsense for bidets. Okay. And you've got 0 uniformity of material. All these guys are just like wood and cloth and leather and other types of cloth, and then something different and a second type of metal for no reason, right? And like, they honestly do not take well to simple painting methods. They just don't. Right?
Because I just, to use your old army painting thing as an example, where you had the steam tanks and then you had like a bunch of Free Guild Guard. It's like comparing a Free Guild Guard, like an Empire State Troop, to a Cities of Sigmar peasant soldier, like a steel helm, is just like, these are not. This is like universes beyond, no pun intended.
Yep. So yes, I mean, just like, easy, get down here. Welcome to Nightmare Land. Enjoy yourself. Get down there.
Now, a nightmare for someone like, when we get to Lumineth, I'll explain my reasoning, but it's just like, sometimes projects are good, even if they're a nightmare.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yes. Doesn't mean, when we put these in Nightmare, it doesn't mean you shouldn't paint them. It means you should be prepared for what you're getting into.
Yes.
Right? I'm looking, Marty, for informed consent when I paint my army. That's what I'm looking for. All right. Cool. Next up. Let's see. Who shall we grab? Let's grab these little guys. There we go. The Goblins. The Gloomspite Geats.
I want to say they're a project.
Yeah.
Because they take to simple painting methods very well.
Agreed. Lots of things in the army do. The squigs do. The regular, like, stabas and shootas do. You know, trolls do.
Yeah, like, I think either this has emerged in one of your polls. That's what we need, by the way. We need another survey episode. I miss those. But like, I think just anecdotally that like Gloomspite Gits is like the most like the most well beloved miniatures range out of all of AOS.
Sure.
And there's a reason why all of these figures have such iconic details on them, and they just take really well. So detail uniformity, absolutely not. But the way that they're sculpted, the way that they're styled, the comedy, the bombastic expressions of every single miniature, you could just like Zenithal rattle can and contrast paint this entire army, and it'll
Sure.
still
For
look
sure.
great. It's very readable. It's
Yep.
like, yeah.
I
So,
agree. I think that there's a couple permutations of this army that would be in It's a Project. Like the Wolf Riders and Chariots, if you're doing that heavily, I think they would
yeah.
fall down into it's a project. But I think if you're doing like the regular Gits, if you're doing the Squigs, if you're doing the Trolls, like basically the three main classic parts of the army, I'm ignoring the spiders for our purpose because GW has for the last 10 years. Heyo!
That is true.
Got them.
The one time they made spiders, it was a human cultist army.
Yeah. They make weird choices. Like when we got our first like hush shut guys and it was just human dudes in funny hats.
Yes. Anyway.
That's going to go down as an all-timer terrible decision. That Warcry warband probably killed the game.
The box that came in, yeah, I can admit, yeah.
I'm serious. Because the other boxes were already made and done. And once they came out, we haven't heard anything from that again. I think those fake, dumb, hashut worshipping, ugly humans with their dumb hats literally killed the game of Warcry. So if you ever want to know the power of a sculpt, there it is. At any rate, my point is, yes, I think if you go for the wolf side, it's going to be, it's a project. But for the most part, this army truly is kind of a dream to paint. Goblins are very fun. They're very colorful. As you said, because like, I mean, just green skin in general is like a lot more fun to paint. Because you can use like contrast and stuff like that super easy. And it's cool.
Because like one of the things that like really helps like Warhammer Orcs and Warhammer like Destruction stand out is all of the hard creases and like Games Workshop has a sculpting style. I couldn't quite describe it with full articulation off the cuff, but it's like the goblins don't just have good face. It's like the way that the creases.
Yeah, they're just very expressive.
Yes.
Extremely expressive. Yes, in an almost like over stylized way. So I'm going to set them here. I'll leave the little toe touching down into It's a Project to represent the wolf part, right? But everything else, absolute dream. Goblins are a fun paint. I wish I liked them. They're the only destruction army I don't have. And that's just because I've never really liked goblins. I like orcs. I don't know what to tell you. I'm an orc person, not a goblin person, which makes me very sad in Magic the Gathering because goblins are the tribe that gets all the attention, whereas like orcs get nothing. The best, the coolest thing that happened to orcs was they released Lord of the Rings, and it was like, yay!
Yes.
A few more orcs. All right. Anyways. Okay, next up. Oh, who shall we grab? Let us grab these guys. All right. Flesh Eater Courts. The Courts of the Flesh Eater.
Yeah.
Raven cannibal lunatics driven by madness. So what do you think about these guys?
I think this is our first green army. Metaphorically speaking.
I understand. Pure green. Super green.
Yes. Especially since the newer additions to the range have added more texture variety, so they're not like boring without making the miniatures themselves too complex.
Hold on, I gotta answer something in the chat real quick here. The creator of the Great Goblin, Argle Bargle, doesn't like goblins. No, I like silly goblins to a point, but I don't know why. Warhammer goblins have just never appealed to me. They like weren't silly enough or cute enough. I just don't like the look of them. Like the goblins from Goblin Hobbies, Brent and Casey's company, I would literally do. I would do a whole I would do a Gloomspite Gits army of those goblins.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a little bit too much mischief and not enough whimsy in.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, if I want my goblins, I want goblins with whimsy. Yes. So that's all. And that's very much what that game is about. Okay, please continue. Sorry, I just had to. I felt the need to address.
No,
this.
I know, this is why I'm here. I could talk about art design all night.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm thinking about like the newest iteration of that range are oh God, what are the bat more big knights.
Yeah, the Morbeg Knight, your
So
Crypt Guard, that kind of stuff. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So like stuff that they added where they added like a little bit more weapon variety, so they have like more traditional weapons, not just like they have like sharp bones that they hit people with. Um, so it's like you have a little bit of rusted weapons, you have like flayed skin turn into banners, and like more bat stuff where it's like almost quite, but not so much vampire, strigoi, stuff like that. Um, you can even apply their themes to simple basing as well. Like a lot of their basing is almost implied from like the army terrain and a lot of stuff that's like now added in some of the bigger monster kits. So yeah, I think they're green.
I agree. This is like I have this army and my version was speed painted. I think they take to like actually multiple different speed painting techniques incredibly well. Most of them are very uniform in their materials. Like it's just a lot of flesh. Even the Crypt Guard have just like two pieces of armor or something and a weapon. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
They're like basically a bunch of naked, weird cannibal dudes running around. So that's great.
Hmm.
Very low on the overall Greeble count. Very high on the uniformity.
Yeah,
Airbrush, yes. Speed paint, slab chop, yes. Classic methods, yes. All easy. Oil paints, even, yes. Like you can do all of it. It's so good. These guys are great.
I
Absolute dream.
picked up the character that was in the army box. You see like the lock something. He has the bat wings and he has his talons like this and he's like I forget the name of the character. It's a generic hero.
Sure.
Um and he has a ring of bones around his head,
The
framing
Gore
it like
Warden, is that who you're talking about?
the Gore Warden, yes, not the Lock Warden. The Lock Warden, I'm painting Custodes, of course. So yes, the Gore Warden has a lot of Bojangles, but they do not detract from the overall
A lot
aesthetic
is
of.
a hard thing to say. He's got a couple around his waist. He's carrying some
I know,
things.
and he also has the whole like
Yeah, he has a little
each of those.
crown.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a frill, but it's made of like individual like bangs. It's a lot. It was a lot of stuff. Anyway,
Sure. You can also
um,
like easily not attach a bunch of the things in flesh eaters and or cut them off. Like that's the
yes.
thing. Yes, you can some greebles and things like that you can cut off. Some are like
Mhm.
load bearing. What I mean there is just like
Yes.
you cut it away or it's just like too integrated into the sculpt or something like that. And these guys just like, oh, it's an extra thing hanging off their side. You don't need it there.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
okay. Daughters of Cain. What do you think? I've got some thoughts.
Um, yeah, I was about to say this is you, but for me it's like I keep thinking about witch elves. Um, this is this is one where I'm glad that we don't have the model count of Warhammer Fantasy anymore.
Hmm.
And if you had the model count of Warhammer Fantasy and you did have to paint like 60 witch elves, I don't know if this army would ever be done.
Sure.
Because I think, yeah,
I mean, Tom did like
because
90 witch elves. I mean, good on him. Lunatic.
yes, yes, that's like back in AOS 1 or like early second edition days. Um, but yeah, it's a project.
Strength
I feel
Hammer's in the
comfortable.
chat. What do you think he voted for?
Eh. What do I think versus I just yeah, but
He
I
may
think
be
it's a
this may he
project.
may be a biased source. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, just like we're all biased about our pet armies,
Of
especially
course.
if we enjoy physically, like we get the dopamine from painting them regardless of how complex they are.
Sure.
But yeah, it's a project which there's a lot of individual details. There is a lot of detail variety, so it's not like you can use simple painting techniques for them.
Right.
Um, and some of the details are quite small. Even if there's not a lot of Bojangles, the
Hmm.
few Bojangles that are there require delicate touch. So
Yeah,
I
I think
took
for them, Bojangle count actually pretty low. Like
yeah.
these are relatively straightforward sculpts, like a witch elf and a sister of slaughter, the snake ladies. There's not a lot of extraneous garbage on them, right? Like the snake lady
Mhm.
is like an elf upper top that's basically naked except for a boob plate,
Mhm.
a snake lower body, a little belt piece that separates the two, right? And a weapon.
Yeah.
Like, that's the model. Okay. There's not like a lot of extra crap there. There's not a lot of extra details. So on that regard, I actually rate them pretty positively. Uniformity of materials, oh, that's straight out. That's just nonsense. Like, that's all over the shop here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got the bat wings and snake parts and flesh, lots of flesh. If you don't love flesh, don't get into the Daughters of Cain. This is one of the 2 armies I do have a painting list for, by the way. To answer the earlier question, where I have like a painting playlist.
Well, yes, it's the trailer.
Correct. That painting playlist is 3 songs long, and one of them is the original release trailer. And I put it on and put it on loop. And so I listen to the release trailer like once every 10 minutes for hours. And it rules. No longer shall I be denied. At any rate, low uniformity, doesn't take well to simple painting techniques. That being said, again, as you mentioned, I think the break point here, as we said, the tiebreaker, it's not a huge number of figs, right? Okay.
Yeah. May I address one comment that's in the chat?
Go for it. Yeah, please.
Like for the slow week, we are approaching the end of Games Workshop's fiscal year. And
sure.
They like to overload everyone's senses with releases right after the start of the next one. So I think it's a slow week, even though technically 11th edition is on the horizon.
That's really what's happening is we're in the middle of the 11th edition buildup. As I said, we all knew the AOS stuff would just dry up. But I've wanted to do a show like this for a while. So like, yeah, we don't have a lot of news, but okay, neat. Who cares? I want to do the fun stuff. This is what matters.
We're all still painting. We're all still painting. We're all still gaming.
Exactly. So I'm going to say it's at the bottom of It's a Project. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
Like it is a project, but it's not insane. Like to me, it's a normal army. You sit down and you paint, and it's going to take a while, but it's not crazy. It's like the low end of that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get these idiots out of the way. Ossiarch Bone Reapers.
I was actually thinking about this, and I'm still not sure because the army still includes some end time stuff.
It does,
which to me is some of the most difficult to paint miniatures in like the history.
Oh sure.
Of this game, of like this franchise.
The Mortarch, like Archon, the Angels. Yeah.
I painting a Dread Abyssal. I will never do that again. You will never make me paint one of those. But then thinking about the infantry, which is a miniature I've never painted. Like I painted all of like the stuff like back when it was like Legions of Nagash and Mixed Undead. And so I'm looking at a Mortec Guard. I'm looking at an Immortus Guard. And there's a lot of creases with like implied detail because it's supposed to be like layers of bone.
Sure.
But I feel like they would take simple techniques well, which is not true for the bigger stuff, but it is true for the smaller stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This army's a real mixed bag. I agree with you. Tabletop Minion says, I painted some Bone Daddies for Warcry. They were easy. I agree with you, Adam, but you were painting the easy guys. Like the little Mortec Guard. Stuff. Yeah, they're like the easier ones. I think that this is a tough army because, like, looking at the criteria, they're not too Bojangle heavy, though they do have a lot of, like, detail for no reason in some places. But I would still rate them overall fairly decently on that. Uniformity of material varies a lot over the figs. Yes, there's a lot of bone. Like, there's a lot of bone. Okay?
Yeah.
But, like, there's also a lot of other characters and bigger models and stuff like that that have like a lot of other different things going on.
Yeah,
okay, like the Morgas and things.
Yeah, and also like the like magic energy, ectoplasm, the trim. There's actually quite a lot of trim as you escalate in the hierarchy of characters that are here. But you don't have to paint those like metal. Like a lot of the trim can be painted like it's like when they showed off the chariot, there was not a lot of true metallic elements on there. You could make them metallic if you wanted, but it looked like a lot of that was sculpted, like just painted more as like a different type of bone.
Yep. By the way, somebody asked about Repent, Ye Foolish Gods. Our next game coming out on June 5th, where you form a band of 4 cursed, wronged warriors who fight against the dark gods, trying to lay low their followers, their cultists, and their worshippers before eventually facing the god themselves and giving them the revenge they so rightly deserve for the suffering they've inflicted. Anyways, it's coming out June 5th, and yes, it's done. It's 132 pages. It's pretty good. By pretty good, I mean, like, I am super excited for this game. I think people are really going to really love it. It has a couple of strange inspirations I'll talk about in a future show, but it's going to be a good time. And what we're waiting on now is just it's sent away. We're just waiting on our approved copy to come back, which should be hopefully pretty soon. Anyways, OBR, I think they've got to be in It's a Project because of all the different stuff. Like, the big models are pretty annoying. The simple, like the advantage here, more tech guard, not bad, right? They're really not bad. Their mainline troop is actually a pretty easy paint, which is good. That's, I think, often what kills an army. But some of their big guys are just like kind of annoying, right? Not crazy. I don't think they're anywhere near Nightmare. That would just be horribly unfair.
Right.
But I honestly think they might be like the worst death army to paint.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which kind of tells you where the rest of the death army is going to fall, I suspect. But we'll see. We'll see. All right. Let's go for a wild one here. IDK, the fish, the elves, the fish elves.
I don't think they're that bad because the fish themselves, like the sea creatures, have a lot of big open textures.
They do.
That take simple techniques very well.
Scales and such. Yes.
Yeah, well, like the eels are a lot of like smooth, like in the shark. I'm thinking of like the sharks and the eels. I don't know if eels are played anymore, but
they are.
Yeah.
The army only has like 3 models, so yes, they play eels.
Right. But like they're not as difficult, because I've painted quite a few IDK models as kit bashes for Lumineth and like Warcry stuff.
Sure.
And it's like they don't have as many textures as like say Lumineth might.
Sure.
So if you want to say they're a project, they are. But like if all elf armies are in orange, I would say they're possibly on par or slightly more forgiving than Daughters of Cain.
Okay. So looking at the criteria, there is a decent amount of like bojangly nonsense on them. Not individual hangy bits, but like just extra detail and scribble scrabble all over them for like no reason, right?
Yeah.
Uniformity of material, pretty low, honestly. You got like some flesh, you got your blind dudes, you got dudes in armor, you got a lot of cloaks and capes and cloth and crap like that, right? And boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants and, stuff like that. Yes. As you said, you got the fish, the turtles, you got hard shells, you got soft skin, you got scales, you got kind of a mix, right? That is true. You don't have to do the eyes of the basic troops. That's a nice advantage because it's just, it's just nothing there. And then, when you think about like how they take to techniques, I'm going to call it like a 50-50 mix because I agree with you. Some of the stuff does, but like these figs are also like the IDK stuff is really quite hyper detailed at the same time. Right. And that means that like, there's only like simple techniques will sometimes fall down on them. I think alone that just kind of puts them into It's a Project. I think It's a Project.
I think most elf armies in this, not just like, but it's just like Warhammer as a whole IP. If you want to paint an elf army, we're not going to be in green territory. Like
right. I agree. Yeah. I agree. All right. Auric War Clans. All right. I'll take this. I'll spearhead this one. I think this is one of the few times where we don't have to split the two up. Okay. because I think they both actually fall into the same category. I think that as far as like the Swamp Bogglers side of the house is a little more bojangly, bejangly nonsense than the Ironjaw side, certainly. Certainly.
Mhm.
Okay. But both of them have relatively like about the same amount of uniformity material. It's like for the Swamp Bogglers, it's like flesh and leather or fur, right?
Mhm.
For the Iron Jaws, it's like flesh and armor plates. So it's kind of a wash,
Mhm.
right? So Cruel Boy is definitely more bojangly, but where these guys win out is that I think they universally take to simpler painting techniques more effectively. Okay. So like with a lot of furs, leathers, armors, like their armor, like the Iron Jaw's armor takes great to like dry brushing, that kind of stuff. Swamp Bogglers, their fur, the leathers, quick stuff, textures, things like that. Right. Like I think the dents and divots in the plates are an advantage because again, that takes like a nice soft dry brush like super well. You can bring out that texture so easy, right? Whereas Cruel Boys take more to like your traditional contrast, right? Like that's where they shine. Like some of the contrast stuff, good to go. Now, that being said, neither of them are absolute easy. Okay. Like they're not
Mhm.
flesh eater quartz. Let's be real here. There is just a lot
Yeah.
more going on. Okay.
Yeah.
Because
I
you got
have
like,
painted. I have painted a handful of brutes, believe it or not. So,
sure.
yeah, I do have experience here.
Yeah. I think that like, I mean, I was able to do an Iron Jaws army of significant size in a week without too much like having to kill myself. I think that says a lot, right? Because it took to all those techniques really well. I think I could do the same thing with Cruel Boys. I've painted some number of them.
Mhm.
Um, but I think they're like, I think they're in Dream, but it's like the bottom of Dream, right? They are as hard as an army can be while still being a sort of Dream paint.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. If you wanted a level 2, like you wanted something a little bit more challenging than easy,
Right.
like an easy mode, this is one way to go about it.
Exactly. Where it's still taking to all those simple painting techniques. Again, it's not a huge number of models in either army as our break point, right? Um, you got some 6 guys with bows, you got a big kill shooter thing. Again, all those pieces contribute are like, well, the big stuff like that, the Bojangles on the Cruel Boys is really the only thing that gives me even a bit of pause. So if you went for like the Bojangliest, heaviest Cruel Boys army, I think you'd get down into It's a Project.
Mhm.
That would be your risk. That's the sort of floor, right? Okay, cool. Stormcast.
Um, as time has passed,
Uh huh.
they have gotten more challenging
Yep.
because but only because the miniatures look better as a result. Like we
Sure.
have like just sometimes like one of my critiques of Space Marines is that they are almost too conservative in their designs, and
Sure.
Stormcast do not have that problem.
Right.
As you climb the hierarchy of the scarcity and like venerable nature of the troops, they take on more interesting textures. And you have like much more interesting creatures, like you have dragons instead of tanks.
Sure.
Um,
I mean,
I
we should
still
have
think that,
Stormcast tanks. I've been saying that now for 8 years, and I'll still say it.
yeah, yeah. I still think they're green. As because even they got a redesign. They got a redesign in third edition,
Hmm.
and they didn't look like Lego figures anymore. They look now like the fantasy Space Marines with like actual like functional looking medieval fantasy plate.
Yep.
Um, the weapons have a lot more details on them than they used to be, but still, I think all of that keeps them like they're like right there with Iron Jaws, where you could if you're walking in a puddle and that puddle is orange, like the orange difficulty, like you can look down and see it, but
I
you're still
gotcha.
green.
I
Yeah.
agree. I think that's exactly right. Like the newer stuff, I think they're just slightly easier than Iron Jaws. You're right though.
Mhm.
Like, agreed completely. The stuff like the new Reclusians and stuff like that have gotten, you're right, more complicated. We've added more textures. But again, honestly, things even like the Dracoths and even the big dragons take to really simple techniques. Airbrush,
Yes.
dry brush, oil paints, washes, all these things are an absolute dream. You can do so much work on your Stormcast army, like legitimately with with rattle cans. It's crazy how much of your army you can get done with just like a rattle can or two. And that to me says they belong in Dream, right? Like you can get to be like, wow, 70 to 80% of every miniature is done with, and I just use 2 rattle cans. That's a hell of an army, right? Okay. All right. Let's grab a newer section here, one I'm working through right now, which is the Hellsmiths of Hashut, our Chaos Dwarves.
An army I would like to paint. It's one. Would like to paint a few of them. Some of them do look interesting. This time I think the small stature works against them because
Okay.
they are quite heavy on the Bojangles. Or
I'll tell
like
you, that's
or
what let me just jump in there. That's what I thought at first too. Okay. But actually, I've painted up all my infantry now. So I'm like done with all my infantry in the army. And it's less Bojangly than you think.
Then it's texture variety. They have quite a bit of texture variety.
That is true. That is true.
And the fact that the miniatures are so small makes it harder to paint well. Because sometimes there's like a strip of leather and then scale mail and then a sash and then some more segmented armor and then the beard and then the face, and it's like all of that is like in 3/4 of an inch of miniature.
Sure. They are very
Yeah.
small, which does have the nice upside of if it's less surface area to paint. Like your square footage is lower here, right?
Right.
Yes, Cygnus said beard jangles, Martin. Beard jangles. They do
Yes,
have beard jangles. That's true.
yes. And that's not a bad thing.
No, hot tip. Use every beardless face they give you in the box. You'll thank me later. Like the shooters and a lot of that stuff you can basically do almost the entire unit without beards. You can do like everything I think except the unit champion without beards. So
you're painting an army of surfacers, which is a Dragon Age reference, but anyway.
Sure. I don't need beards on my dwarves to feel good about myself, especially when they're chaos dwarves. So like a bunch of mine don't have any beards at all. Like they work around fires. It makes sense to me that their beards got burned away or whatever. What I'll say is they've honestly been an absolute pleasure to paint, but there's no world in which I would put them in Dream. That's crazy. They're definitely a project, right? And it's for the reason you described. You've got your Bojangles, honestly, not too bad. Your uniformity, though, of materials, oh, that's all over the shop, right? Yeah, they've got a bunch of different stuff going on. Gems and metals and, different metals on metals and leathers and cloth. Yeah, like that's for sure. They do take to some simpler painting techniques in several ways, right? So, but my answer is, yeah, they're a project. It's a project, right?
Yeah.
So, there you go. I knew I was going to make all the dwarf enthusiasts angry when I talked about beardless dwarves. They're coming up here.
Surfacers, that's fine.
Exactly. Cygnus Maximus, meticulous shaving equals chaos. Correct. Absolutely. Daniel Kearney, what level of painting do you commit to when painting your armies, Vince? Tabletop or closer to display standard? Depends on what my goals are for that army. Like I've done many speed painted armies that the goal is to paint them in like a week or two. And in that regard, they're just speed painted and they're there for me to play at home and have fun with. If it's an army I intend to take to tournaments and win best painted with, then I've got to go up against like Marty or Kit or who else did we talk about earlier? Mickey or Oscar. Yeah, exactly. Like the best armies in the country. I know what those armies are. I know what I'm up against, right? So in that case, yes, I'm definitely aiming closer to display for those. That's why they take me a while. Like, I mean, my rack cast, I got to just over 2,000 points. I got to like 2,300 points, and I was like, well, done with that forever. Yeah. Because it just broke me. So yeah, in general, that's what I commit to. And thank you, Daniel Kearney, for the super chat. Keep those coming. Really appreciate it. But like with my current Skaven, I've painted them to like a really high standard, but a lot of that is through cleanliness and smoothness. Like they're really well resolved, right?
Want to talk about them next?
Sure. Why not? Let's grab them. Let's grab Skaven. So okay. Skaven, I have painted this entire army in every generation that it's existed in since the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The original metal, then the re-released plastics, and now the new guys again. I've painted them every time. And my answer would be the same every time. They're a nightmare. As much as I love them.
All right. I was about to say there are 4 armies that I think that like both existed in Warhammer Fantasy and in Age of Sigmar, which I would consider the ultimate like project army if you want to flex painting.
Sure.
But I get like, and that's Slaves to Darkness, Skaven, Empire, or Cities of Sigmar, and Soulblight, like Vampire counts. It's just like if you are a good painter and you want to take a year to paint that army, it will look incredible.
Yes.
But you don't have to. So it's like I feel like with Skaven, it's like because the army is just like so much disposable rat chaff. But come to think of it, now we were talking at the beginning of the show what happens when, like in a starter set, one army is easy to paint and one army is hard to paint. What and then sometimes there are boxes which just don't work when both armies are hard to paint. And I keep thinking about Island of Blood and that unit of 20 clan rats. And there's just so much detail variety
Sure.
on 20 clan rats that it's not really easy to paint. Like the muddy detail can hide a lot of things because they're so low to the ground, and like
Sure. They're very hunched.
it's a rat,
Yeah.
and it's a rat, so like I guess people aren't really like looking that closely, but they do have quite a bit of detail on them.
Yep, they do. They've always been highly detailed miniatures. Yes, agreed. And that's just it. The reason I know Wolf Dogheart, he said like a base coat and a brown wash and Skaven look fantastic. I just disagree, man. Like I think you got to do more with them than that. I really do think that. Like I can't get behind that. Maybe for Pestilence, I could get away with that, but I just think that like because Pestilence isn't always it can be just like weird, dirty, grubby dudes. But like yes, the Bojangle count super high, uniformity of material in the at the floor. There's all sorts of crazy crap going on. Like even in Clan Rats, there's like robes stacked on robes that you need to separate for like no reason. Then there's like armor plates riven throughout. Then you get to like the entire Molder clan stuff, and now you've got like mutated flesh and warped flesh and open wounds and metal integrated in tubes and things like that. Then you go over to Eshin and you have like now the new crazy ninja rats, and those guys are just like really bajangly by the by, like the gutter runner stuff and night runners, right? Yeah. Then you've got Scryer and you've got war machines everywhere, right? Like they're which is just a whole other bag yet again of just like different things you're trying to do. Zero uniformity, right?
Yeah.
And yes, I will agree with you completely, Wolf Dargart, is that like there are some simple techniques you can use on them. Okay. I think for the most part, a lot of the sculpts will take better to things like some contrast paints and stuff like that. But for me, it's like if I use a bunch of simple techniques, am I going to get something I like that I think looks good out the other side? And with Ironjawz, I can use like super simple techniques in a week and have something that I'm like, darn, that looks really good. With Skaven, because the size and the level of the intricacy of everything that's going on, I will be like, that looks like crap. Yeah. That's what'll happen, right? As a Skaven lover, thoughts on the new gutter runners? Well, I mean, I talked about the rules earlier. They're completely dumb and bad and overcosted. But bomb rats are outrageous fun. As far as the models go, they're beautiful models, but they are very bojangly. Like, and just weirdly different for no reason. Like, there's guys that have tubes and guys that have little weird bombs. They're so clearly a Warcry warband that got repurposed into gutter runners. Like, when you actually paint them, you're like, oh, this was just a Warcry warband. For sure. For sure. But, like, they were a fine enough paint. Now, they're still a dream army for me. I have painted thousands of points of these multiple times. Okay. My original Skaven army was huge. I sold it, bought the new one, painted another 12,000 points of that. Now I'm to the next guys, and I'm up to like, I don't know, 3,000 points in my current Skaven army, and I'm still going. Right. And we'll keep going forever. So
yeah, if I may say, because sometimes this is brought up in the chat, we said at the beginning, we may draw dopamine, enjoyment from painting these armies, but that doesn't make them less difficult to do so.
Right. Like Marty and I both love a challenge. For me, it's Skaven. For him, it's LRL. But that doesn't make the fundamentals of the army not a nightmare. Like, that's what it comes down to. Yeah. Plus, and then the ultimate deal breaker, yeah, the model count in most cases is just crazy high. So there you go.
Yeah.
So okay. Soulblight Gravelords.
I actually want to say they are green.
So I went back and forth on this a lot. I thought about this one a lot. This is one I actually thought about before the show quite a bit. Yeah. The initial instinct is you say, well, they're a dream, right? Because it's a bunch of undead stuff, and you can just like dirty them up and go nuts because it's like
no, but like it, the miniatures have gotten more complex as the sculpting technology improves. Like, gone are the days of like the Hero Quest skeletons.
Sure. Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Or like, to more accurately, the skeletons with like the meatball hands. Like from what is it, like 5th edition or something like that? I don't remember like the classic.
Yeah, meatball hand skeletons came out in 4th and 5th. Yeah.
Yes. Where it's like very Army of Darkness, and like the details are just so large and exaggerated that they take to technique, like easy painting techniques well. So like ultimately, detail uniformity, no. Like this is
agreed.
Relatively traditional, like medieval fantasy army where you have before the undead stuff, you have armor, you have cloth, you have leather, you have flags, you have jewelry, you have different, sometimes like skin tones or like skin types, where it's like if you have like a
vampires versus zombies versus skeletons. Yep, absolutely.
Yes. But those they used to be easy to paint, but they've gotten more complex as time goes on.
Yep.
But because of the nature of them being undead, you can paint them with simple techniques easily.
Yeah, I think Bojangle high, uniformity of material low, take to technique, simple techniques medium, right? Medium to high.
Okay.
They do have a high model count often, not always. Obviously, you could have Blood Knights or something like that. What gives me pause is like crazy stuff like Blood Knights are actually like a pretty big project in and of themselves, right?
Yes, I've painted 10 of them, so yeah.
Yeah, they're like not
which is a low amount sometimes for Soulblight.
Versus like if you're doing wolves and bats, like obviously those are a cakewalk, right? Those are great. The like skeletons, like zombies, sure, super quick and easy.
Yeah,
skeletons, mid-ish, right?
Yeah, and well, it's like compare the old skeleton kit to how it is now,
right?
And like they have a whole costume now, and they did not used to. That should be taken into account. So it's like maybe not green. It's like they used to, and they're just walking away from green into project.
I agree. I think they're like, if anybody's going to straddle fully, it's Soulblight, right? Like they're kind of in that space because it really is hugely dependent on your army. Like army count number can vary wildly here. The number of figs you can use and the detail of like the figs you happen to choose for your army, again, just like such a huge impact, right? If you're doing like 10 or 20 Blood Knights or something like that, like let's say 10 Blood Knights, let's be reasonable. And the big, what's his name, guy on the new Velocita, right?
Vordry.
Yeah, Vordry, thank you. And like stuff in that sort of complexity range, which is one of the common builds of this thing, it's going to actually be like a significant project.
Yes.
You know, if you're doing like a bunch of zombies and dogs, which isn't really, or like Luca Vi is a crazy detailed miniature for what she is. And she's cool as, right?
Oh, yeah.
But, you know,
Yes.
there you go. Whereas if you're doing like a bunch of zombies and dogs, which is like not really a build anymore, sure. Like, absolutely. You could just go absolute ham, right? And you do like 100 zombies in an afternoon for sure. No doubt. Okay. So this just has a lot of different variants in it. And I think it's just going to end up writing both. Like the Mortarks are super complicated. Skeletons, not too bad. Vorderai, absolutely insane. Like the regular, the new white, whatever they are. What is it? Graveguard. There you go. The new Graveguard or whatever they're called now. Because they're not called that anymore. Whatever the new version of
Barrow
it is.
Guard.
Barrow Guard. Thank you. The new Barrow Guard, not too bad. Right. So, like, my point is they probably, you're absolutely right. Like for a long time they were green, but I think they've just trended way into it's a project.
Yeah. It's almost like Games Workshop is adding more detail as their sculpting technology improves.
Weird. That's so weird. All right. Sons of Behemoth.
I mean, you've never painted a vanilla Sons of Behemoth out of spite, I think.
I mean, I have old baby giants I've painted straight.
Yeah.
Didn't convert into a horrible machine, people. Yes.
Yes. But I also like that like this is like a Frankenstein sort of thing is kind of like what we're missing from like our very fantasy, like relatively conservative interpretations of undead for this fantasy universe. I want to say green.
Just painting them, Hades. I'm not talking about building. That's right.
Yeah, I want to say green. I know I just said green 2 times in a row, and like I walk back that because they don't have a lot of detail. They don't have that many textures on them.
They can be super bojangly if you put all the garbage on them, but the key to that is just don't put all the garbage on them.
Yeah, because no offense, but most of the garbage on them looks bad. So it's like
if you just keep them to like the basic construction, right? You know, there you go. B to the Rai said it's a mistake not to take building difficulty into account in this discussion. Having to build a horde is just as daunting as painting difficulty. Well, maybe it's not always true. Like we could tangentially mention it, B to the Rai, because like if you're doing a horde of stabas, well, those are just like one piece you put in a base.
Yeah, if I may, well, so tangential to that is the difficulty in painting them in terms of like trying to hold, like when I was mentioning OBR, like physically trying to paint a Dread Abyssal with a Morghasts requires you to hold the model or mount the model in such a way that is detrimental to the act of painting it.
Yeah.
And so that is an aspect of this discussion, albeit liminal or marginal.
Okay. Here's my answer for Sons. First of all, you're talking about like 4 to 6 models. So that's nice, right? And so I know that's our tiebreaker, but I just want to say it up top. And thank you, Beat It Arrive, for the super chat. I do appreciate it. Keep them coming, folks. That's great. That's really awesome. Here's my next thing, though. This is like bojangly, a little bit higher than I would like. I'll say it that way. You can cut a lot off, but there's a little bit of nonsense around their waist, especially on some of the builds. Like the Kraken Eater is just like, they give him a bunch of dumb crap for no reason. Like his club is so stupid. It's full of just like junk, right? It's like a ship's cannon and a bunch of other things shoved in there. Okay. But uniformity of material, very high. It's mostly just naked giants. They're wearing like a freaking loincloth, basically, right? This is the problem with the army, is that it's too uniform. Okay?
Yeah.
And then, like, actual ease of taking painting techniques, incredibly high. Incredibly high. They take to, like, what do you want to do here? Airbrush time, oil paint time, rattle cans, and some quick slap chops or something like that. Any of that. Yes, of course. Like, famously, there was quite a good-looking Sons of Behemoth army at NashCon a couple years back, and I was like, oh, it looks pretty good. when you what you know what tell me about it. And it's like, well, he's like, well, I started it 2 days ago. Oh, okay. Like, you know, and when I got close, I could like see the areas that he didn't finish as much, but they looked good. Can you make it look good fast? Right. And the answer is like, yeah, you can. You can. Like, yeah, the loincloth has some stuff on it. I don't disagree, but it's also big and fairly easy. Like for most of them, it's like something that's over their belt and stuff like that. Like, again, I just found these guys, even from like, even trying to do them to the level I did, and you've seen my son's army, you know that the level they're at. I found these guys just unbelievably easy to paint. Like using any of several advanced techniques. I was like, yep, we're good to go.
Because they're big, the details on them are big as a result. So like when you say when they have a loincloth, it's like they don't just have like tiny straps. They have like a full chaos shield, like for a chaos warrior.
You can just get out the size 8 brush for most of these guys and go ham.
Yeah.
Right. There's no eye strain with the Sons of Batman. So I'll agree with the Bojangly thing. We'll put them down at the bottom of Dream, but they're still in Dream. Okay. Disciples of Tzeentch.
No.
Correct. Do not.
Yeah.
I mean, look. Go ahead.
They have horrors. Yeah, horrors are okay.
Yeah.
But that is 1 unit, and you'll probably have 60 of those models.
Horrors are relatively easy. Uniformity material extremely high. They do have a few jangles and jingles here on them. They got a lot of extra little jewelry and stuff for no reason. The little bubblegum flamers and the screamers, yeah, the 3 like core demon things actually legitimately pretty easy to paint. Every other thing in this army is a straight nightmare. Everything else, the giant lords of change are crazy. Every hero is a bespoke nightmare, right? Like, yeah, the main like goo people units and even the pink horrors, which are so simple, right? You have to paint the pink horrors and like, well, I guess you don't have to anymore. You used to have for a long time. You have to paint like the pink horrors, the blue horrors, and the brimstones, right? That whole thing. I guess technically you don't have to do all that anymore, but still. Okay.
Yeah.
Zangor, the entire Zangor range. Are you freaking kidding me? Ungodly detailed. Bajangle City. Just pure nightmare fuel. Okay.
Yeah.
So like for the 3 oldest demon units, the flamers, the screamers, and the horrors, they're not bad. But every human character in this thing, the Arcanites and all the Zangor and certainly all of their actual heroes and their big demons, ridiculous. Absolute ridiculous. Total nightmare. That's it. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Like, they're probably above Cities or Skaven only because of the demon guys keep them from being an absolute, complete dumpster fire, right? That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Cool. I'll make him a little bigger so you can see him there. Somebody asked where the 2 down there are. There you go. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. Blades of Corn.
Almost like everything we could say about Blades of Corn, I think we could also say about Slaves to Darkness, because these are the closest in terms of texture, composition, and amount of Bojangles to Slaves to Darkness. So, I mean, unfortunately, they're not red. They're not a nightmare. I don't believe the red army goes in the red zone.
Okay.
Yeah, but like it's a project.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think that this army will require some work, but the textures themselves, like they're all big muscles and very like the creases are very large and forgiving, and they take simple techniques very well. It's almost like whatever like Soul Blight, they're like right there, like with in terms of they have the same prop challenges, but also the same redeeming factors.
Okay. I have 2 counterpoints in both directions that make this army hard to peg and pin down.
Yeah.
Yet again, we're going to get into a weird demon versus mortal split, right?
Right.
The bloodletter side of it, the demon side of it, is like whatever, like literal whatever. Okay. It's like a rattle can and a dry brush, and then you paint the sword black and you're done or something. Okay. Like they're a joke, right? Bloodletters are just like, these are easy. It's like God making snakes. Okay.
Yes.
The mortal side, I have one word for you, Marty, and that word is trim.
Yeah.
They love their trim around every single plate, every single edge, corn, blood warriors, all those kinds of things. All the guys on the juggernauts and stuff like that. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. So here's what I'm going to say. I think they've got to average out in the middle, even though you actually probably will rarely live the middle. It's a project life, right?
Yeah.
If you're doing like a really heavy mortal army, I think it actually is probably drifting into nightmare. Okay.
Yeah. Then yeah, I was about to say, then when we get to slaves, that will be harder.
Yeah. Well, if you're doing like an all demon army, like if you've got, you know, a bloodthirster and a bunch of bloodletters and stuff like that. Oh man. Congratulations on your one weekend great looking army. Okay.
Yeah. I have a friend in the Philadelphia area. He painted about 3,000 points of corn in 2 weeks. And a bunch of it was like, because at the beginning of before, I want to say like in first edition, it was a lot more of the demons. And so it was just like, did not have trouble with those.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, again, it's just like the demons are a dream. Okay. So, but there you go. But I think they're definitely firmly in It's a Project by virtue of average. It's just,
Right.
it has got to be one of the widest splits on an army, period. Okay. All right. Next up, let's grab them. It's tree time, baby. The Sylvaneth. That's right. You thought we were done with elves. No, there's more elves. This time, tree elves. Yeah, what do you think about Sylvaneth?
You still have all of the like you still how old are dryads? That's a 6th edition kit, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think
I'm
I'll
really
look, but I think they were 2006.
I'm really surprised we haven't updated those yet. One of the last Warcry releases includes sick, like actually like ailing dryads. And it's
Mhm.
like, oh my god, we get a peek at what dryads might look like with current sculpting technology. But since we still have the old dryads, which are just base coat dry brush done, and the tree lords from 8th edition, which are almost base coat dry brush done.
Oh sure.
So it's like you have a portion. It's almost like Blades of Corn, where it's like the portion of the army is the greenest of the green, and then you have all of the hologram wraith like
The actual elf
border.
parts is what you mean, right?
Yes, the actual elf parts and the bugs. None of the bugs are easy to paint. All of the bugs have like crazy detail on them.
So, I still think I don't think it's as bad as corn, is what I'll say.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. I think this is the right. Yay! I found my thread. All right, the fantasy release timeline, Marty. Here we go.
Yep.
I'm gonna find it here. Okay. This says all the sculptors and everything on it. So here we go.
Yep.
Dryads. The current Dryad kit came out during 6th edition in September of 2005. So there you go. They are 21 years old. Congratulations to the Dryads. They can now drink. That's great for them. The original ones, by the way, came out in April of 1996. AM and BN. AM and BN. Let's see who sculpted these bad boys, shall we? AM is Allie Morrison.
Allie Morrison.
Yep. And BN is Brian Nelson. So Allie Morrison and Brian Nelson sculpted these. There you go. Okay. So there you go. Full credit. All right. So I think really the only part of this army that's annoying is the bugs.
Yeah.
The elf bits are generally like so small and so controlled that
Mhm.
you can just like relatively easily get a bright color on there. If you have a nice, careful wash, the elf bit comes out looking pretty good. Because usually it's only like part of an arm and a head and part of a torso, like that upper part of a torso. It's usually so minimal, right? Kurnoth, the Tree Lords, everything like that, easy. Even Alariel is not really that complicated of a paint. She's a beautiful model, but she's not a complicated paint, right?
Yeah.
I think that honestly, these guys, again, I think they got to go in Dream. Sylvaneth was a very fun army to paint. The bugs are the only thing that gives me pause. Of course, it's like the newest figs that are the worst. The bugs are doing their best to make this entire army not fun to paint.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to. But they still get to be in Dream. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry, everybody. Apologize. Okay. And thankfully, all the bugs besides the god bug sucks. Yes, that's true. Okay. All right. Let's keep going here. Let's get this other one I don't want to talk about out of the way. Fire Slayers. The other dwarves.
Project Trending Nightmare.
Say more.
Okay. So they have all of the runes in the skin. So it's like there's no easy way to paint them in terms of like there's no area on these miniatures which is like even flat surfaces. All of their muscles are pockmarked with pimple like runes that like jut out of their skin.
Yeah.
Like pimples. All of them have who said beard jangles? They all have beard jangles.
They do love beard jangles.
Yeah, there are runes hanging out of the hair. They have like super detailed helmets because that's like the only bit that was part of the like an actual costume.
Sure.
The magma droths are a nightmare of like scales and fire, and even I painted a magma droth. We were talking about this earlier. I think we were talking about this project, this show, in the inner circle chat, and it's like I painted one magma droth, and I mostly painted it one color, which was red, but that wasn't true. It's like, well, some of it's fire, some of it's scale, some of it's magma, some of it's this, and it's like, and then you're not rewarded with unit variety, so you have to keep doing this over and over and over.
Yeah. I mean, on one hand, that's kind of an advantage. The uniformity of materials is certainly high here, right? They're mostly naked dwarves with a giant beard and a mohawk that's the same material, hair, right?
Yeah.
They're like beard and they're hair and skin. But I agree with you. There's like, for an army that is so simple, how are they so bojangly, right?
Yes.
It's wild. Obviously you never put the axes on. That's an optional piece. You just that stays off. That's number one. I'm not even counting that. The little throwing axes they used to have rules for. Get that out of here. Okay. I saw the green bearded army wolf.
Yes, I remember them too. Yes. They were pretty good.
Absolutely. Yeah. I believe they were one of the ones I judged. So at any rate, but I think these guys are a project. I think that's where it comes down. I'm sensitive to what you said, but here's the thing. Magma Droths, they do take a lot of simple techniques well. I've got to give them that credit, okay? You can dry brush and wash your way to glory in a lot of ways, or contrast your way to glory. The little guys themselves, it's so much skin, and that is just intimidating. Even though it's like a uniform material, we do have to accept that, like, making skin look even remotely interesting is a bit of a challenge, right? So their uniform material is like the worst uniform material, as it were.
Right.
And you're absolutely right. Like you have to paint surprisingly more of these than you think. Like it feels like it should be more elite, but yet here we are. So I think they're just definitely in it's a project territory. The Beardo Dad with the super chat saying, what army would you say grows with your skills most? Grows with your skills.
What's your favorite army? The answer is your favorite army.
Maybe. I think you're asking what has the best low ceiling or low floor but high ceiling. And the answer there is either Slaves to Darkness or Stormcast.
Yeah.
Both of which are like very like you can go from very simple techniques that make them look good to like absolute crazy high levels what you can get out of those figs because of their cleanliness and because of the room you have to maneuver. The more bojangly and complicated and like nonsensed a fig is, the less it lets room for you to actually show your skill because you have to just paint what's there. When you have a lot of negative space, like with Stormcast and Chaos, you can actually like take them up quite a ways. So that's my answer. Speaking of which, Marty, you've hinted around it all night. Let's grab them. Slaves to Darkness.
Yeah. Again, these are I think it's actually the classic Warhammer army.
Sure.
And so, because of the wide roster available here, I wish we had Manicore Lord still, because it's like the thing. I think the army like Slaves to Darkness in Age of Sigmar uniquely lack like a regular generic centerpiece sort of thing.
Sure.
Because we jump.
I mean, you're not counting Atraxia or Archeon.
No. I mean, like we jump from like a Lord on horse. I guess Abraxia is like the closest thing, but
Yeah.
like then you jump to Godzilla. Like
Sure.
I wish we had something on a regular monster base still.
Yeah.
That's not the fucking Mutileth Vortex Beast.
Sure.
But yes, so it's like this is a nightmare you sign up for.
Okay. I got to think about this one. This one's tricky because we got to take the totality of the force into account here, as you said.
Yeah, which includes Dark Oath.
That's right. And those guys are just like a bunch of crap for no reason. Just way overcomplicated Conan Barbarian models. Okay. And like they are really annoying to paint, and you need like a bajillion of them. They have no uniformity of materials. They do take some simple techniques, okay, but they're Bojangle City. On the flip side, you've got the Iron Wall part of Chaos, the thing that I really love and have, right?
And all of that has trim.
Yes. Has like complicated trim and stuff like that. So I just don't think there's any way out of this. Like, they're definitely, like, on the best day, these guys would be a project, right? I think oftentimes they can become pretty nightmarish pretty fast. Just because of, like, everything you've got to put into them. Okay?
Yeah.
I think that they're probably, like, again, they're going to be the equivalent here to the Soul Blight on the other side of the It's a Project.
Yeah.
All right. We're getting down to some Seraphon. Lizards. The lizard wizards.
Yeah, I don't know if I could ever consider these a green. It's like they always, like, they're hiding, like, even back in the day when it was like a lot of older sculpts, it's like they have Bojangles sculpted on, like you can't leave them off.
Sure, they got a lot of little wraps and gold bracelets and things like that all over them. Yeah.
And so, like, the amount of stuff like that prevents you from just painting, I want the giant dinosaur army.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I think Dream would be too high for them. I can't put them in Nightmare because Bojangle count, I agree, pretty high. Uniformity of material, though, also often pretty high, right? Like, yes, they're Bojangles, but basically everything else is often scales.
Oh, yeah, yes. And also all of the Bojangles, regardless of who's wearing them, they are the same Bojangles.
Yeah, they have a lot of, like I said, like you know, exactly what the bracelets, the wraps, the little, you know, those kinds of things.
Yes. Right.
As far as takes to techniques, they do take to a lot of very classic techniques very well. You can do a lot of work with these guys. Like, this was one of my speed painted armies. I did an entire massive Seraphon army in a week, and that was with doing a bunch of extra freehand and stuff like that on them, like speckling and stuff. And it looks okay. Like, it looks fine. But like realistically, if I were to actually do that to a level with I would want, they're definitely a project, right? For all the reasons you talked about. There's a lot of like other things going on. Like you got stone elements they're holding, you got a lot of gold all over the place, you got some weird gems and stuff,
And
in
magic
there.
elements like particle effects, lightning, space, and
Yeah, and the big central characters are all like really jangly. Like, let's not even talk about Croak. I mean, good lord, right? But like, even the regular frog wizard and your people like that, your big guy on Carnosaur, that sort of stuff.
and
Right?
like the Astralis bearer, which
Sure.
is like has so much work on it.
When I did mine, I had a mix of newer and 5th edition models. And admittedly, like if you want to make your life easier, go get a bunch of the 5th edition Saurus. They are so much easier than modern Saurus. It's like not even close. 5th edition Saurus forever. So, like I think, but like a lot of them do take very well to sort of dry brushing stuff, things like that. Like you can get a lot of progress out of these guys with some careful dry brushing for sure. Right. All that heavy texture is great, but I still think they're a project. They just are. They're a project. Okay. 4 left. Here we go. Ooh, what shall we pick? I think we got 3 kind of automatic ones here, basically. All right, let's see. Nurgle. The new range.
Yeah. I think it's still great. Like they don't have the same problems that Khorne and Slaves to Darkness has.
Yeah, agreed.
Their armor has always been sculpted in a way that is more forgiving to painters, just because of the art design that they've chosen for Nurgle humans in these games.
Yep.
So, Bojangles optional, always optional.
Yeah.
So it's like the answer. You can put a lot of Bojangles on a Nurgle guy. Like the Warhammer Quest stuff is like a good example of like how many Bojangles are on the Pestigore and stuff like that.
Sure.
But regular ones you don't have to. Uniformity of detail, yes.
Agreed.
Even from the lowliest wretch up to the most exalted Nurgle Demon Prince,
yep,
is going to have the same textures in different proportions.
Oh yeah, how am I missing? I'm missing LRL. Thank you. Well, I'll find them somehow. The LRL must not have copied over. I apologize. I was missing one.
Okay, I thought we were saving it for last. It was just like, Marty, this is why you're here.
No, I just somehow when I grabbed, I have a file where all these photos are in, and I must have accidentally failed to select one. I'll grab them.
Yeah. And then taking the technique, it's just like they don't. It's like, I guess they do, but it's like, especially like when you're talking about mortals, you don't paint a mortal the same way you paint a plague.
I did grab them. They were just off screen. There we go. That's funny. Yeah. Okay, I got my LRL. There we go. They were there.
So it's like maybe they have like they're dangling their feet in orange, but like that's it.
Yeah, I think Nurgle gets to stay in Dream. And here's the reason why. I agree with you, like, but jangly thing, not bad. Uniformity of material, slightly positive. Simple techniques, A+++. Every simple technique you want to use with them makes these guys look better, right?
Yeah.
Like, going crazy with, like, weathering and pigment and rust and crap like that, advantage. Right, you can hide all your old stuff. Washes, A+, looks great, right? Like every simple technique you want to use isn't just like a shortcut; it's an enhancement to them. It's the Sun Tzu, right? We jujitsu'd there. Your greatest weakness is in fact my greatest strength. Okay, so on and so forth. Yeah. All right, cool. Okay, so yeah, I think they just got to stay up there. I get what you're saying, and I agree. Some of the stuff like the new Blight Kings, honestly, are like some of the more annoying guys. The new Rot Swords are kind of a project. Actually, I think the Pestigores are really simple, but like the new little weird wretches, easy. Plague Bearers, easy. All the bug and bloated things.
Well, I was
easy.
actually trying to compare the Warhammer Quest Pestigores,
Sure.
and like the art design around them to the ones that are in a standalone kit. And it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you can have stuff in your army which is covered in crap,
Right.
like chainmail and rusted copper and verdigris and bells hanging from the belt, or you can just have a bunch of naked like crazy goats and demons.
It is wild how different those two kits are. That has got to be the
Yeah,
weirdest thing. I would love to know how that
yeah.
happened. And yes, the Great Unclean one, their big demon is obviously just like a ridiculously fun, stupid, simple paint. So
Yeah.
he's great.
Well, yeah, but it's like even more so than like a bloodthirster. Like a bloodletter does not look like a bloodthirster. A great unclean one is just a giant plague bearer.
Or a giant Nurgling. Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah, yes, yes.
All right, Marty, let's grab them. They were all just off screen, but I did have them. There you go. LRL.
All right. Listen here.
Yeah, yeah.
The main thing that I struggle with in comparing them to is Cities of Sigmar.
Mhm.
Where Cities of Sigmar, I think it was really unexpected that like we as a community or like a fandom were not expecting Cities of Sigmar to be the nightmare that it became, because of the texture variety. Steel helms are more difficult to paint than the basic troop of Lumineth. Like they're in red. Like this is a nightmare that you sign up for. The main difference here is like high elves in this fandom take pride in being difficult,
Sure.
and that's kind of their thing. So like the miniatures themselves are showcasing detail and like the fragile poses like someone was asking about, well, talking about make hard to paint, like there are small contact points, like the weapons are usually difficult to work around, like the sub assemblies are complex, but they are all given the intent where it's like, well, yeah, well, of course we're difficult, of course we're the pretty princess, we are the high maintenance girl.
Sure.
But like we like that, and you're here because you like that too.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're absolutely right. This is a nightmare you choose. I agree completely. These guys are crazy. Just crazy. The filigree, the trim, the detail, the shallow detail on the stone boys, everything that's going on with like all this different crap around some of even like the basic troops, the sentinels themselves, like even when your basic sentinel is just like actually such a nightmare to paint, right?
Yeah.
Like, of
Yeah.
course, this is a nightmare.
Yeah, and it's like I acknowledge like that's one of the things that's like odd about cities is that like you don't, first of all, you don't, your army will not always be as large as maybe some of the other ones in nightmare territory because they're supposed to be elite, they're supposed to be um like, you know, the snowflakes. It's like I don't know how I feel putting them below Cities of Sigmar, but that's a personal.
I mean, they're all
That's
in
just me.
nightmare together. How about that? There you go.
Yes, yes.
They're all down here together. We all float down here. Gray Boy with the super chat. I just rewatched the Poor Hammer episode as well. Awesome, man. Very good. Thank you. Yeah, Poor Hammer dudes are great. Like I said, we're gonna get them back on the show sometime soon. I'm gonna hit them up. Okay. All right. Ogres. Dream. End of discussion.
Yeah, for now.
For now, Dream. Airbrush the army, slap chop the army, oil paint the army. You can do amazing things with them. They're so much fun. There's like 3 different materials on an entire ogre. It's great. There's like metal, skin, pants. End of list. Right?
Yeah. The 8th edition era monsters are a little difficult, but you're only gonna have like 1 or 2 of those.
Sure. And even so, they're not that bad, right? Like they got a lot of super heavy fur texture, wash, dry, brushy type of things. Great. The horns and the tusks and stuff are all super textured. So yeah, that's fine. Oh, my dog is coming to see us.
Hello,
Lyra. Hi, baby. This is my oldest dog. This is Lyra. She's my dog. Come here, baby.
Hello.
You do not like to be picked up, but you're going to get picked up. She doesn't like to be picked up.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. She's 10, but she's still very energetic. She was a little bit.
Oh yeah. No, my corgi is 12, so I get it.
There you go. She's doing very well though. You just had your checkup, and they said you were very healthy. Okay, you can get down now. Okay, there you go. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. Yeah, so I mean, ogres are just great, right? They're great. So, as a paint, again, that's like that's an army, another one I did in a weekend, and like they came out, and I was like, yeah, those are good.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I that was like one of I think I think I've watched almost all of Gear Speed painting videos. So it's like I remember there being one about the ogres and like those pants and stuff like that.
Yeah, so simple. There's a reason, before I grab the next one, look, there's a reason that Larry the Ogre reigns eternal, okay, as the painting model to show stuff off on. Because, let's be honest, they're just great. All right. Hedonites of Slaanesh.
I'll let you take this one.
Go for it, man.
I said I'll let you take this one.
Oh, okay, got it. I'll let you.
Yeah.
Obviously, top to bottom nightmare. I love this army. I loved painting it. I think the figs are gorgeous, but they combine the LRL's like self-indulgence of like everything we do is perfect and it's about being perfect, right? With the chaos love of like overt, ridiculous detail and bajangle and crap like that. Any model, and like it only gets worse the newer everything gets, right? Like all of the Slick Blade Seekers and all of that kind of stuff, ridiculous. Glutos, all the new mortals, but like even their greater demon, like the keeper is a beautiful thing to paint. I've painted 7 different keepers, but it's so much more complicated than the other greater demons, right? Only like maybe the bird is close, the chicken. But that's exactly what they are. Like if you sign up for Hedonites of Slaanesh, you're trying to make this beautiful nightmare. That's what it is. That's what they are. That's what it says on the tin. That's the whole point of the thing, right? It's just, it is excess the army. It comes across in the sculpt. There it is.
Yes.
Right? There is nowhere else they could ever be. 7 keepers feels like 1 too many. You are correct, but yet here we are. I guess technically I'm like, I have an 8th one that I've kind of set to the side. So I don't know. I got to go back around until I get to 12, I guess. All right. And our last army, the easiest one, I saved it for last. It's Night Haunt. I agree with your thing at the top. Just like, boom, woo, there it is. Are they the kings of easy paint? Yes, they are. Even easier than ogres. Bojangles, almost unpresent. Just very little of that, right? Uniformity of material, yes. They are a bed sheet and a weapon in most cases. Like that is the army.
And some shackles. That's it.
Occasionally, yes. Occasionally a shackle. That's right. And then just like, how do they take to simple tools? Amazingly. Like down the board, they're like A+, A+, A+. No notes. Got them. Just like they are the definition of an army you can paint at almost 0 effort.
If I may just tell a quick story, because it's like we're well into the show and whatnot. So I used to go to the Du Bois events, which were like back in the day of like, especially before COVID, one of the largest events in our region. So like upstate New York. And I dragged a friend who normally plays Lord of the Rings, kicking and screaming. It's like, come on, like it's just like fantasy. Just come play AOS at a tournament with us. And he's a big procrastinator, and so I knew that his army was not going to be done in time. So while I was trying to finish my Sacrosanct Stormcast, I painted half of his army too in 4 days.
Sure. Yeah.
And I also got best painted that weekend with my Stormcast. So it was just like, yes. But also it's like, and I painted half my buddy's army.
Sure.
Because it was just so, just like not difficult to do.
Yep. Night Haunt, by far the easiest paint. Like, they even make Nurgle look easy just because it's less steps. Both easy, but it's less steps. Somebody asked about Gloomspite Gits. You did miss them, but that's okay. Here they are. They're like 80% in Dream and 20% down in It's a Project solely for the Wolf side, because the Wolf side is way more complicated. There you go. Jag1519 with a super chat saying, working on my custom Skaven clan, a wealthy offshoot of Clan Scryer. Well, Scryer's already one of the more wealthier clans. I've got some faux jewelry to embed in shields and armor as depleted warpstone. Any other ideas to sell? The Skaven ideals of wealth. Oh, I love this. Okay. Marty, you look like you had an idea right out of the gate. Go for it.
Yeah, you can paint faded trim on cloth.
Oh, sure. Like it's like they have actual nice clothing. Yeah.
Yes.
Like put some actual freehand on the cloth or some trim or something like that. Yeah, yeah. I think that's something, right? Like they would have, they're actually wearing like what was, like they stole expensive clothes, not rags they took off of a dead body on a battlefield, right? I think if you really wanted to do some more customization, giving them just better weapons, a lot of their weapons are like kind of ragged. You could give them like just new weapons, like cut the swords off of other kits that are like clean and like, what do I want to say? Like, yeah, not rusty or pitted or cracked or chipped, you know? So like, think of like the Slanesh Twin Souls blades or the other guys, the other version of that kit, like those swords that they wield would be perfect to like replace them. So like, yeah, really nice weapons. They would definitely want better stabby things to kill with. I think that could really sell. Yeah, beyond that, it's probably good. You could have all your characters riding on other little Skaven, like take a couple extra clan rats and have them like holding a little shield up, like the dwarf. What's his name? The classic dwarf like king or whatever, where he's got like the shield bearers underneath him and he's riding on top of the shield. You know, yeah. Put your characters on that because you know they're wealthy enough you can afford a few clan rats just to bring them around. Plumes is a fun idea. That's fun. Put a couple plumes into their hats. Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. Okay. There you go. There's some ideas. I hope that helps. Like, I think that's a very cool idea. I love the idea of like well-to-do Skaven, right? Like they're not just like scrabbling by in the Underhive. No. Even our clan rats have good weapons. That's very how wealthy we are. Yes. Yeah, give them some fancy weapons, like take some Slanesh swords and stuff like that. Put them on there. There you go.
Yeah, all right, Marty. Dark crystal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Well, sorry, Marty, we got there, buddy. We got there.
Yes.
There's the list. Not too bad. All in all, only 5 armies in the Nightmare category. Pretty decent number in It's a Project. And honestly, a pretty decent number. What is that? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 in Dream. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not too bad. Not too bad. Overall, I think it's a good spread right now. I do worry a little about the fact that like models tend to be getting more complicated as they go. At the same time, like I said, the Hellsmiths project, but they're some of the newest kits out there, and honestly, I didn't find them that bad. So it shows they still know how to do something like pretty good and simple when they want to.
It will be interesting to see what they do with Stormcast in the launch of 5th edition.
Yep.
Because it's like, can we get more Bojangly than like Reclusians?
Sure. Yeah, that's we've pretty much at maxed. Those are like, yeah, the trend is toward Nightmare. You're not wrong. Like we're pushing downward in general. Yes. But you're absolutely right. Like the Reclusians are the closest to John Blanche's original art, but they're also like the most overtly complicated for like no reason, right? So, yeah. Okay, cool. Well, good. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to everybody who super chatted and contributed. Don't forget the Art of book, the Art of book for the Art of Vince Ventrella. You can get it now. You can find a link down in the description. For Game Envy, just go there, go to books, and use the code, and boom, you can save some money and pick up that book if you missed the Kickstarter. Hit all those affiliate links, click things that make dings, merch store down there. Don't forget, Uncle Adam and I's new book is coming out on June 5th. Repent, ye foolish gods. You'll start to see some more spoilers and art from that soon coming out there. So follow on Twitter and socials. It's all up there at the top. We'll be sharing stuff out there. Yeah. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Really, really appreciate it. Hit that like button on your way out if you haven't hit it yet. Subscribe. Marty, thank you as always, brother. I really appreciate you stepping up tonight. And it was a great discussion
Thank
with
you for having me. Yeah.
Wow.
And everybody,
think of no one better.
Buy Vince's merch.
There you go. That's right. And hey, everyone, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Do I have this actually open? Let me see. Did I actually open the right thing to shut this off? You know, Marty, every time I do this, it's really fun. What I'll do is I'll start the show and then switch something and forget that I don't have the button on right now to actually turn the show off, because that's how good I am at doing this after only like 11 years plus of doing this. No problem. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. As always, we'll see you next Wednesday. And do not forget to start rolling dice.